our interactive multi-screen level spooky? Mystery Hunter's game. Press red.
Today on Mystery Hunters.
Do lake monsters really exist? Can mummies come back to life? Pictures right here in our vault prove something very strange is in the water. And we have pictures proving that mummies attack.
Okay, so that was just from an old movie. So what if we don't really have pictures of mummies on the loose? I bring one back to life.
From our mystery lab, Doubting Dave shows how to make your own mummy.
Then he tries to solve your mysteries.
I've used the Mystery Illustrator.
And I check out the legend of the lake monster. There have been so many recent sightings in Lake Okanagan in Canada that I decided to go there and investigate.
300 years ago, the natives used to warn their children to stay away from this gigantic lake. If you so much as dipped your feet in the water, they said a bloodthirsty monster could grab you by your toes, drag you into the deep, and swallow you whole.
The natives call this creature Nahai. Nahahi? Today, people call this creature Ogopogo. Do you think the last time someone saw Ogopogo was 300 years ago? Think again.
This is our deck. This is where we saw the Ogopogo.
Early one morning,
Jack, Lena, the Ogopogo!
the Barry family videotaped a strange appearance in the water.
It was just a long, snaky thing, and it was going across the water, and all of a sudden it just dived down and didn't come back up.
It looked like a head that moved through the water, and then it, fell down.
It wasn't the first time something weird swam by the house. A few years before, their dad videotaped what he believes were two Ogopogos swimming together.
And do you really believe in him, or is it just a myth for you?
I believe in him.
The Barry family isn't alone. Hundreds of people believe they've seen the Ogopogo, and many of them have taken pictures of something strange in the water.
Ross is a newspaper reporter. He took this picture.
I watched a large, dark shadow move into the area where I was focused on, and then all of a sudden, just for 1 second, a couple of dark humps broke the surface.
Can you tell us what you were doing when you saw the Ogopogo?
Daryl swam the length of the entire lake.
Something did nibble on my left foot, and something actually rubbed right against my body here, and it wasn't short, it was like a long rub. It looked pretty much like a long tunnel or a long...
Almost like a log?
Pole or a pole, and it looked like it had a pretty good-sized left eye, about as big as a grapefruit.
Could Lake Okanagan be the perfect home for a monster? The lake's abnormally long, deep, and narrow.
Just like this lake, the one where another creature is supposed to live, the famous Loch Ness Monster. People on both lakes say they've seen a creature with a horse-shaped head and humps on its back. Could a prehistoric dragon be living in these waters?
It's one thing to go talk to people. It's another to go see for yourself.
I'm on the hunt for a mummy. It has to be in excellent condition. Hopefully, buried with treasures. And then I'll unwrap it and find out who it was when it lived. Okay, hello? Hello? Is anyone here? All right, come on. What do you mean? All right, I'm going in. This must be the place. Hi there. This place is creepy. Hello?
hidden chambers of the Royal Ontario Museum. The place where Egyptian mummies lie.
It smells.
You can see up here there's been some damage, and you can actually see the skull of this person now. While we're here, would you like to touch this person?
Sure.
Let's put some gloves on first to protect things.
I, Araya, am gonna touch the head of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian.
Hi. It feels pretty cool. It's nice and smooth, and his hair's pretty rough.
Do you think this could be the person you're looking for?
No, I don't think so. The mummy that we're looking for is supposed to be really well preserved.
Who's this?
This is Knocked.
He's the guy that scared the living daylights out of me. But you can still see his skin, and even his toenails. Why is that cloth covering his, his area?
Don't you think if were you lying there, you'd like to have some underpants on?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But the mummy I'm looking for was supposed to be buried with treasures.
Ah, Jed.
Jed? Can I open the coffin? How would you like to make your own mummy? Well, the Egyptians never wrote down how they did it.
But Doubting Dave in our mystery lab wanted to find the answer to this ancient mystery.
What? You think your life as a chicken is harder than my life as an eminent scientist, magician, and skeptic? You couldn't handle one day in my shoes. You are on. Let's do this. Nothing to it. I pecked around in the dirt a little, I ate some birdseed. Was a little awkward when the farmer came to get some eggs, but apart from that. Now, where is that chicken? There's a note. Dear Doubting Dave, had a little excitement around the office today. It seems somebody let an animal into the building? Anyway, if you're free tomorrow, why don't you join us for some chicken sandwiches? Hey, little fella. The ancient Egyptians used to mummify their kings, their pharaohs, and their loved ones because they believed that life would continue after death if the soul could recognize the body. They even mummified their pets, which were usually cats. But the truth is, if you're going to experiment with mummification, I highly recommend you use a chicken from a grocery store. You'll need gloves because raw chicken is full of bacteria. After rinsing the chicken, it's critical to dry it thoroughly. Moisture is a mummy's enemy. Then you take out the brains and the guts because organs contain moisture. The idea is to dry out the body so it doesn't rot and turn into a skeleton. Do that, and you've created a mummy. The secret ingredient the Egyptians used to make a mummy was something called natron. Now that's basically baking soda and salt. The Egyptians found natron on the shores of a lake called Wadi Natrun. That's how it got its name. You pour your mixture of salt and baking soda over the body. That dries it up or dehydrates it. Now make sure you cover every area because if any moisture is left in there, the body will rot and decompose and you'll lose your mummy. And we all know how scary that can be. Now you store it in a bag, maybe two because it'll stink for a while. And about once a week, empty the liquid that is drained from the body and resalt the chicken. Now the whole thing takes about 5 weeks. Let me see if I can speed this along. Good! Now we have a mummy chicken. And it shouldn't smell anymore when it's dry. Mmm. Cotton strips. And lots of them. Did you know that a mummy's bandages unwrapped can reach the ground from the top of the Empire State Building? You wrap the linen gently around the mummy, and if you want to stick to ancient Egyptian tradition, you chant a few sacred verses to assist the deceased's journey into the next world. Back street, back, all right! Once you're done, the mummy goes into its sarcophagus, and there it will remain for thousands of years. I'm gonna miss you, little buddy. But the chicken sandwich? That'll teach me to jump to conclusions. I know, let us never fight again. I love you. No.
To understand the meaning of life,
something I will do before the end of the program.
The universe.
It's my clucker.
And everything.
Come on, Violet, show us your Waltz table tennis ball.
Stand by for the brand new series of The Big Bang on Discovery Kids.
I'm out on Lake Okanagan looking for a lake monster.
We're dropping sonar equipment to look underwater for us.
Nice and easy now.
These things send out sound waves. When the sound waves hit something in the water, they'll bounce back to the boat. A computer translates sound waves, which come back to us as pictures, basically colors and shapes. Before you do a mission like this, it always helps to know what you're looking for. A good mystery chaser always asks, what did those eyewitnesses see if it wasn't a living creature?
Back at headquarters, I pulled a few interesting clues out of the video vault.
It looks pretty much like a long pole.
Could it be a log? We know that a dead log will sink in the water. As it rots away down there, gas builds up inside like a balloon filling with helium. One day, the log's gonna shoot up to the surface. If you saw this, would you think it was a lake monster? Still, there's always a possibility there really is a hungry water dragon down there. They're known as plesiosaurs. They're supposed to have been extinct for 70 million years, but this fish also lived 70 million years ago, and it's still around. If it could survive for this long, why not the Ogopogo?
Christina, can you come in here, please? I want you to look at this. Christina, we've got an unusual target on the sonar here. It appears to be 8 or 9 meters long. There are a lot of fish in this lake, but nothing anywhere near this size.
Could that be Ogopogo?
It's something. I wish we could get in and have a better look at it. Christina, this is Manta Ray.
A mini sub.
Who and what are inside this ancient mummy case? I'm gonna find out.
First, the mummy case gives me some clues that this was a woman.
That's Jedma Adazan herself, and her name is written right over her head, so you can be sure.
But I still need to get inside that mummy case to find out more.
Oh, but there's like a splitting open here. It looks like you just take it apart.
This is made of the same stuff as a cast on a broken arm. And if you went to the back and cracked it open, it would all fall to pieces, and these beautiful drawings would be lost forever.
So you're not gonna let me open up the coffin and unwrap her?
Not a chance.
A good mystery hunter always finds a way to unlock a secret. It's time to unwrap Jed the high-tech way.
I had a tip that Dr. Lewin at the hospital found a way to see inside a mummy case. So I decided to look him up.
These people know Jed inside and out. Literally. This is a CAT scan. It's like a 3D X-ray machine. It's way better than undressing a mummy.
Jed took a ride in this machine, just like I'm doing now. The pictures it takes show up on a computer. We're gonna see inside Jed's case, and even inside her body.
Here we have the plaster coffin of our beautiful mummy. There's her face.
With the CAT scan picture, we can travel right through Jed's body, from her head to her toes.
There's no brain here. The brain was removed through the nose. And now we're going down through the chest, the squished up chest wall. There are her arms, and again the wrappings of the body. This very bright area is the gold on top. There's a gold eagle. Cool, isn't it?
It's very cool. It reminds me more of a vulture that we saw in the actual coffin itself.
You're absolutely right. An Egyptian vulture. This vulture protects her from evil
Oh, those are her hands.
Yeah, that's, a section of the hands. And there are her beautifully preserved feet, all squished up within the wrappings of that mummy. With a CAT scan, we could determine, by examining the bones, how old she is.
Jed lived to be about 40 years old.
The scans also show how Jed probably died. Something was fatally wrong with her teeth.
Next stop, the dentist.
Aha! Here's what I wanted. I got an email from 9-year-old Matthew Rogers in Manchester, England, and I've used the Mystery Illustrator to show you what he sent. Dear Doubting Dave, my family just moved into a really old house. The house is creepy, and the kids at school told me it's haunted because there's a graveyard down the street. They say one time a kid at school went in the house and never came out. I didn't believe them because my mom told me there's no such thing as ghosts. But last night when I was in bed, I heard noises upstairs. It sounded like people walking around and groaning. Oh. I got scared, and I ran out of my room, and my mom said I could sleep in her bed, even though she told me there were no ghosts. But if there aren't any ghosts, how come I keep hearing noises? Okay, Matthew, let's try an experiment. I want everybody at home to close their eyes. I want you to imagine that you're looking at a haunted house. Now open your eyes. I'll bet that's pretty close to the house you were thinking of. And when you see a ghost story in movies or on television, they almost always use this kind of house. So if you just moved into a scary-looking house, you might already be thinking there are ghosts inside. And that is the best time for your mind to start playing tricks on you. So what's making those noises in your house? Here's what I think. Houses expand and contract depending on the temperature. That means they actually get bigger and smaller. During the day, the house heats up and expands, and at night it cools off and shrinks a little, and that's when you hear creaking. So Matthew, it's pretty easy to convince yourselves there are ghosts all around you, even if there aren't. And if you don't think your mind can jump to the wrong conclusion,
Think again.
And now let's see if Araya and Christina have solved their mysteries.
The CAT scan showed me Jed inside her case. When we looked at her teeth, we saw she had a massive toothache. Only a dentist could tell me more. This is a picture of Jed's mouth. It shows a stuck tooth that never grew in. That tooth made this big hole in her jaw.
And that hole in her jaw became infected. Could you imagine? That hole was full of pus. Smelly, ugly yellow pus.
So pus probably flowed out of her jaws and into her blood and brain. That's what poisoned her. There's just one more piece left in this mummy puzzle. Woo! This is where they do police sketches to help find missing people and track down criminals.
Police sketch artists can take a skull and draw the face that he used to have. So, what would Jed look like?
Joe and Betty say they can figure it out.
Once I receive the CAT scans of Jed's skull, I'm able to trace them and add human features to it. And then gradually I would add the hair, which I've researched, and the features of Egyptian women.
This is what Jed probably looked like before she got her tooth infection.
That looks really good.
Maybe good, but we can do better.
Betty takes the picture of Jed's real teeth from her skull. Ladies and gentlemen, here is what Jed, the mystery mummy, would look like just before she died. Jed's tooth infection was bad.
It's like this whole side of her face is swollen.
She couldn't have eaten anything. Even taking a breath of air would hurt.
Too bad they didn't have antibiotics. She could have been cured. Jed wanted a good afterlife, and in a way, she succeeded. I mean, people come to visit her all the time, to admire her. I feel like I knew her in a way. Sweet dreams, pretty mummy.
Our sonar shows something big under the water. Could it be the Ogopogo? We're going under to check it out.
This is a half-wet, half-dry submarine. Our legs are going to be in the water.
If you guys go out in a submarine with your feet sticking out, be careful. You don't want them to take a bite.
The manta ray's lightweight and high maneuverability can take us close to rocks. That's where the Ogopogo is supposed to live.
You tell me if you get scared or anything, if you're uncomfortable with this, we go right to the surface.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. As we dive, this air chamber wants to get compressed. Okay. You're adding a little bit of air, and we're going a little bit deeper. You equalizing, you're okay?
Yeah.
We dive down deeper and deeper towards the target we saw on the sonar. We come to the bottom of the lake, no sign of life. Then, something behind that rock!
I don't know what that is.
That's Ogopogo?
Is that what we're looking for? Look at that thing.
That's a statue. That's a...
What is that?
Statue doing down here.
It was only a statue of the Ogopogo. Some people put it here just for fun.
Ogopogo!
Right there. Well, it's certainly roughly the size of those targets we had on our sonar.
Mission's over. I guess we have to go now.
Let's go. All right, back to the surface. There we go.
That was so cool. Well, we've been on this boat for 2 days now, and there's no sign of Ogopogo. But there's still one more place I have to go. Hey, Scott.
Hi, Christina.
See anything?
Well, it's amazing what you can see from up here.
Scott's a local wildlife biologist and parks interpreter. If anyone knows the area, it's Scott.
Well, if you focus your camera on the lake for any length of time, Christina, you will undoubtedly see the Ogopogo.
And sure enough, while I was talking to Scott, look, what's that?
Well, what you're seeing out there, Christina, represents probably 50% of what people see out there and think is the Ogopogo, but right there is essentially a boat wake. It's a form of energy that moves across the water whenever boats pass on either side of the lake. Sometimes the waves will bang together and it doubles the energy, so you will end up with what looks like something alive moving through the water.
Could it be an ancient dragon in the water?
This lake simply would not supply the food that's necessary for even one creature that size.
And remember this video the Barry family took? Scott believes it's only a beaver or a loon swimming with its whole body on top of the water, not a giant lake monster moving just below the surface.
It all depends on how vivid your imagination is.
I think only the discovery of an actual beast or the body or bones of whatever's out there will settle the mystery of Ogopogo once and for all.
At least I solved the mystery of my mummy.
Oh, you know, I read somewhere that the natives actually made up the Ogopogo lake monster. Apparently it was to keep their kids from going into the water unsupervised. Thanks for watching.
That's it from us mystery hunters.
See you next time. And remember, things aren't always what they seem.
Ain't that the truth?
Now they say the Ogopogo is long and lean. Some say he's black and some say green. One thing's for sure, make no mistake. There's a prehistoric fish in Okanagan Lake.
He needs protection.
Ogo!